Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's chat review for Toriko 345. Now, we all predicted this, thankfully, hope that the translations are wrong and that he wasn't taking a break. So, that's good news. And in fact, this chapter, honestly, in my opinion, showcases more so that it's not being rushed. Of course, he could have just done this in the beginning, but, it's Mitsutoshi. So this woman figure who everyone believes to be Froze, who I believe it is to be, addresses Komatsu saying, "I've been waiting for you," and then just disappears. So, of course, they're going to be mysterious. And then next thing you know, now he can suddenly see everyone else that was actually there. And so, the old man tries to, I guess, vouch for him and say, like, when this guy asks, you can't come back, only authorized personnel past this point. And then as they're walking away from the station, Komatsu is just pondering who the person was because the voice somehow sounds familiar to him. And then we switch over to Chaco, who is saved by this woman's helping out, which again we assume is his mother, or at least her soul, because she even gives him a mask and tells him where to go so he's safe, and talks about, oh, you're a big boy now, and helps make sure that he is covers for him. And then something weird happens to her. Like, she's like shaking, and who knows what the hell that could mean. And then the old guy proceeds to explain to Komatsu what this whole selection thing is, and that the people who are brought there are split into two groups: people with bodily disorders and people with spiritual disorders. And that pretty much what happens to them depends on which is wrong with them. If they have a spiritual disorder, their soul gets replaced. If they have a physical disorder, they basically become fertilizer and are basically killed, in essence. Whereas the people who get their souls replaced end up helping with the project as chefs, some of which getting to open up restaurants, such as the 510 Shells, who are considered legends, and they've been resurrected dozens of times. Of course, and then the people who get turned into fertilizer while still alive basically are to help for the flavor of the full course. But he says if they're lucky and their physical disorders is only deemed minor, they'll be sent to work the way they are. But, it's not, lucky isn't really the right word for it, because no matter what they're chosen for, hard labor is forced upon them. And then we get this whole, and they talk about how, we're all being forced into being the nature slave just as our ancestors were. And we get a flashback of how it was mentioned back in Area 8. And then they arrive at the first kitchen, where they are literally growing, reviving, and cooking air. And then Komatsu points out that, oh, these are much smaller than the real thing. And then one guy's like, what? You've seen air? He's like, oh, not only have I seen it, but I've cooked it and eaten it too. And he's like, you got some spirit disorder going on, don't you? Or maybe just a bad sense of humor. Basically saying that to these people who live in Area 6, it seems impossible. Since they probably have all these souls and whatnot, and these people probably haven't even left Area 6 before. They've never seen it. So assuming that this person, they assume Komatsu is someone from Area 6, so they don't believe that someone like him could have possibly have seen, cooked, and eaten it. Talking about how the Soul Yase, or the judge of afterlife, Ikasama, spent many years trying to revive and cultivate air, and that even compared to the other items in the full course, it actually takes a shorter time to prepare, but is still a super class preparation ingredient that takes years and years to cook. And it says basically, oh, there's no way you could have easily prepared it. It takes years to cook. It says, and Komatsu this is where basically Komatsu finds out that cooking the full course takes a lot of time. That's why. And then he basically just, to confirm something, basically says that, if we humans want to have the full course, we have to revive our souls time and time again in order to complete the cooking and actually see it, eat it. And that the guy just basically explains that, talks about, that's why they need so many skilled people. And that he basically mentioned, oh, by the way, the method to prepare air is to first let out the air inside out of it little by little while you cool the fruit. And Kwan's like, no, that's not it. That's not the true way to prepare air. And the guy just is offended at the fact, just like, what did you say? And Komatsu just looks at one of the airs and is like, this air looks ripe, so it's probably going to fall any moment now. So I'll finish it this whole project. Is this implying that Komatsu is going to go to each of these kitchens and help them complete cooking of the full course in Area 6? Because as far as we know, he's only captured another. So is he going to eat the other full course ingredients while he's here and then be all powerful? Who knows? So we basically then get an explanation from Gigi about the back channel and the soul world and whatnot, and how it's pretty much this ultimate safe zone. Another was so tasty that it became hunted by the 8 King member himself, Whale King Moon, and so basically it surpassed the speed of light, and in order to escape him, since his gravity could even pull in light, and that when he did this, he created the back channel, and we also get the explanation that the warp kitchen is kind of like the back channel, and the warp world is also like the back channel. But because it's artificially created, you can bring your flesh and blood body in. However, if you go into the real back channel / soul world, I should say, there is no such time and space. The concept of space and time don't exist. So it's like, okay, so only consciousness can go in. And so, of course, Rin asked the obvious question: how are you guys able to artificially create your own back channels? Well, it's because they've eaten the full course. And then they decided, hey, let's bring it into this clip so I can show you what the Eternal Kitchen, which is this country's project. And basically, it says, yes, we are preparing Akasha's full course. And we get this big wide shot of all these various things cooking and all these various things being done, and so there's many things being done with lots of people. The scale of this cooking is just so massive, and they're all doing it all to cook Akasha's full course. And then he's like, okay, well, here, let's start with the first kitchen. In the first kitchen, where we have Akasha's salad, the air fruit, which is, and before we can finish the sentence, there's this big burst of air, which, as we, as readers, obviously know, everyone's like, oh, what suddenly happened? Of course, the people who are saying this we see this reaction shot from them, they're like, oh my god, they're the people who weren't with Komatsu's group when they cooked air, so they don't know, oh my god, it's impossible, and then, of course, No, Komatsu's future lover, is basically like, oh, that has to be, and when Komatsu's like, this is at 120% flavor, the true cooking of air has been completed. Everyone's cheering, Chef Komatsu, whereas Asaruti is like, what in the... So, this chapter gave us a lot of good information. It wasn't as hype as some of the previous chapters, but definitely entertaining and just getting you hype, because now Komatsu by himself was able to cook air, no problem. Whereas when in Area 8, he required assistance. Now, we don't know if he actually utilized his gourmet demon there, or if he just became that good since eating air and pear. But Komatsu is showing his skills, and he's a beast. Like, the other cooks showed their power, their abilities during the cooking competition. Komatsu just does it best by cooking air all by himself. So, very good chapter. Getting me real excited for next week's chapter, and so I hope you all enjoy this review, and hope to see you all next time.
Komatsu going in. So, Toriko, uh, chapter 345. Now, this chapter, there is a lot here, but I'm only going to briefly talk about a couple different things because a lot of the stuff I really don't care about. Um, I'm just going to briefly talk about Choco Taco and his. I'm assuming it's his mother. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a huge surprise if it was. The girl gave him a fucking mask and knew everything about him and just said, go. Head for the red pot. What that's going to mean, we'll see later, but yeah. I really don't care about Choco Taco. So, I mean, I like the food, but the ice cream, but not him. Uh, Komatsu, of course, saw that figure, but it was only for like a brief moment. Just long enough for it to say, welcome Komatsu-kun, I've been waiting for you. Um, whether or not it was an illusion, who knows. But, um, you know, basically they've been preparing air and shit, but like they were able to preserve, I guess, certain things of air. But Komatsu already knows how to prepare air. I shouldn't say cook because it's a salad. You don't cook a salad, you prepare it. Um, he really knows how to prepare air already, because I mean, they've done it. So, um, he does, and they all love him for it, I guess. Meanwhile, of course, we got some more exposition on the other side about another and Whale King Moon. There's nothing to talk about because that's pretty much face value information. Um, I mean, pretty much learned how the back channel came to be and shit like that. The warp kitchen being pretty much like going into a back channel, sort of, and slowing down time, which is why it looked like he was cooking so fast. Condor Window, of course, I'm talking about. We also learned how Condor Window came back, and that's because, at least he hasn't come back yet, or maybe he has, but their souls have been resurrected like countless times. So, I mean, it's not told why Condor Window came back, but it's pretty much implied by the information that the 10 shells have been revived like countless times. Um, so it's not a surprise now that Condor Window is back, um, either now or by the end of the time skip. But yeah. Let's see. No. Going batshit nuts over Komatsu. The pairing has been strengthened, I guess. Um, it's funny because a lot of people do ship Nono with Komatsu, and the minute she knows it's Komatsu, she just lights the fuck up. Like, when Komatsu says this is 120% savoriness, Nono is like, this is 120% wetness. Like, the true cooking of air, the true cooking of me is and they both say it at the same time, is complete. Just saying, you know. So yeah, I mean, that's honestly it. There's not much, I mean, on my end, there's not really much to talk about because there's not a lot I care about in this chapter. A lot of it's face value information, not much to really dive deep into. Um, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you all next time.